Welcome back to another episode of Rock Boys Football. Coach Prime, the Colorado Buffaloes land another one in the transfer portal, coming from former Michigan State offensive tackle Ethan Boyd. This is a really intriguing offensive tackle that, coming out of high school, as a Michigan fan myself, would have really liked to see Michigan gone after out of high school. He's got a basketball background. You guys see the size on your screen, 6'7", 320 pounds. And I mean, anytime you can go to the transfer portal and grab a tackle that has starting experience at the Power 5 level, you're going to take that every single time. And although we haven't seen Ethan Boyd play phenomenal football at the Power 5 level just yet, I mean, there was a reason why he was pretty coveted coming out of high school. There's a lot of traits for you to work with, and you start to look at the depth in that tackle room. You start to feel pretty good about where Colorado is heading into 2024. Want to talk about Ethan Boyd, talk about what he brings to the table, and then talk about the offensive line for Colorado, specifically that offensive tackle position where we feel really good about what Colorado has on the inside of that offensive line. I think a lot of our question marks are at the offensive tackle spot. This is, unquestionably a phenomenal addition for Coach Prime and the Colorado Buffaloes. Before we get into it, and as always, just want to say thank you to you guys, the Colorado fans. It's obviously been an extremely busy last couple of weeks. We've been breaking down all the commitments. Can't thank you guys enough for rocking with the fellas. If y'all do enjoy the content, consider subscribing to the channel. And without further ado, let's get into Ethan Boyd. Now, really want to start with the potential that I think Ethan Boyd has at that offensive tackle spot. This was a kid coming out of high school that was 6'7", 285 pounds, had a basketball background, and you sometimes see that basketball background on the field. I mean, he has extremely good feet for a frame and size of which Ethan Boyd has. Now, you look at Ethan Boyd at Michigan State in that 2023 year, started 3 games, played in all 12 games for Michigan State. Again, you love that you're grabbing Ethan Boyd, who I don't project to be a starter for Colorado in 2024, but you're getting a guy that has starting experience in the Big Ten to come in and be a depth piece in this offensive tackle room and really start to stimulate that competition. That's something that we talked a lot about during the offseason. Colorado just didn't have the depth on the offensive line last year. You're seeing Coach Prime really have a strong emphasis on not only getting a quality starting 5 for this Colorado offensive line, but hey, we want to have 7-8 guys that we feel good about trotting out there in 2024. And a guy with Ethan Boyd, the experience that he has, I mean, you feel pretty good about what the floor is for Ethan Boyd if you have to use him in 2024. And I think what's even more exciting about than just adding a depth piece with starting experience in the Big Ten is I think the potential on this kid is still pretty high. I mean, he's only going into his 4th year of college football, has 2 more years of eligibility to work with. Former basketball player, has put on really good weight now. He was a project coming out of high school. There was no question about it, right? 6'7", 285. He was kind of a beanpole that had a basketball background. And as you start to see him fill in that frame, get used to carrying 325 pounds, you're kind of excited about what Ethan Boyd can be at the offensive tackle spot. You can kind of chalk him up to a similar guy like Peyton Kirkland with just big-time size. You want to bet on those kind of traits on the offensive line. You look at the production from him in 2023, 182 pass pro opportunities, only gave up 13 pressures. Again, I think this is a guy that comes in, gives you a really good competition in that tackle room, gives you really good depth in that tackle room. Anytime you can add depth by getting Power 5 starting experience into your room, that's a win for Coach Prime in this Colorado program. Now, the one other tackle that I would really like to see Colorado turn it up on, and probably my favorite tackle available in the portal right now, Andrew Chamblee, coming over from Arkansas. It sounds like UCLA, Kansas State, Colorado in on this one. Andrew Chamblee coming out of high school, very coveted prospect, top 200 in the country. And you look at what he did in 2023 as a redshirt freshman, all SEC freshman team. And this is a guy that, again, really good traits at 6'6", 310 pounds, a guy that has a ton of upside over the next couple of years with his next potential program. I look at this offensive tackle room and say, all right, you feel good about Jordan. I mean, Jordan Seaton's a guy that we kind of said when he committed to Colorado probably can play as a true freshman. You see him on the spring game. Like, He looks like a starting offensive tackle as an 18-year-old kid. You have a guy in Khalil Benson who has a lot of experience at the Power 5 level with Indiana. You're bringing a guy like Peyton Kirkland. You're bringing a guy like Ethan Boyd. You start looking at this tackle room and say, all right, we got some names. We got some very capable bodies at the offensive tackle position. You add a guy like Andrew Chamblee, who quite frankly, I think comes in and probably starts at that right tackle spot over Khalil Benson. That's when you start really feeling good about this Colorado offensive line. And we've said it since the end of the 2023 season. If Colorado figures out this offensive line, gives Shedeur Sanders cleaner pockets with the weapons that we saw on display in the spring game, this is an offense that really is going to be able to move the football. I really like the addition of Ethan Boyd and really excited to see if we can land Andrew Chamblee. We'll cut it at that. Appreciate you guys rocking with the fellas. Again, if y'all do enjoy the content, consider subscribing to the channel, and we'll talk to y'all later.